In 2019, the Chamber of Commerce of Austria reached out to me from Pretoria to Mozambique to establish a cooperation agreement with the Mozambican Renewable Energy Association, which at that point in time I was the director of, and we collaborated in the hosting of a couple of webinars focused on promoting the Mozambican renewable energy sector and attracting Austrian investment in the context of Mozambique. From then on, we had a couple of different conversations and engagements with different delegations, and ultimately they nominated me to participate in the ALPS program. It was a very comprehensive, jam-packed agenda, starting with our first day in terms of engagements with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and different delegations from the business community, Chamber of Commerce, WKO. And there were specific bilateral meetings that were organized by the ALPS team. Specifically, I met with Andritz Hydro, the VP of Market. I met with the head of UNIDO and a couple of different elements within the UNIDO team. And then subsequently, I just walked out of the meeting with the head of the Austrian Development Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So in terms of specific activities directed at my personal focus, there were a range of different activities, but we also had a range of team activities with the other participants of the ALPS program. And these were probably the more rewarding engagements in terms of interpersonal interaction. I can tell you that I have made a couple of lifelong friends out of this program, in addition to business interests and networking beyond that writ large. I can say that we spent 3 days in Linz, in Upper Austria, and we had a range of different activities with various business interests, from alpine steel to EREMA, from plastic processing and recycling to steel manufacturing, in a range of different industries. And I'd have to say the cherry on top was the last visit to the Institute of Research in Software. And we had a range of different presentations on AI. And this was very impressive to understand concrete applied applications of AI technology, because there's a lot of hubbub around AI, but this is wonderful to see actual practical applications of the technology. So in a nutshell, in addition to fantastic Austrian cuisine and a range of different cultural activities, from having fantastic champagne at the Schlumberger wine cellars to, and then some. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. I will be very specific to my personal interests. So I have a background in renewable energy writ large, but I have a specific passion and focus in hydropower generation. Mozambique has huge hydro resources and potential for hydropower electrical generation, but we don't have the ecosystem and the conditions for the development of these resources. So specific to my engagement with the ALPS program, my line of inquiry was to explore the ecosystem in Austria in the hydro sector. And as is well known and established, Austria has 50% of its electricity supply comes from hydro. They have a very large and well-established ecosystem in the private sector. So one of my key meetings was a meeting with Andritz Hydro, where we discussed their interest in the Mozambican sector and the potential for investment and engagement. I had meetings with UNIDO focused on how UNIDO can support the implementation and the creation of the technical capacity for the realization of hydro projects. In addition to a range of different private sector engagements that I had through the Chamber of Commerce and Advantage Austria when we had that social at WKO, this translated into, I'd say the culmination of various conversations with a meeting I just had this morning with the head of Austrian Development Cooperation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, trying to identify what are specific initiatives that we can begin to develop using existing instruments and interests from the Austrian economy to develop the hydro sector in Mozambique. And I believe that following these conversations and connecting the dots in the various stakeholders, that some concrete building blocks have been identified, and we will be able to take meaningful steps to strengthen cooperation and to foment the hydro sector in Mozambique jointly with the Austrian government. I have to say this has been an eye-opener in terms of getting to know the Austrian economy, the Austrian society, and that has been wonderful in and of itself. The immediate returns from the networking opportunities with young professionals such as myself has been an eye-opener and has been great exposure in terms of having a interactions with people from wide-ranging backgrounds, wide-ranging interests, and understanding where and learning from each other. That has been fantastic in and of itself. And to have that incubated in the context of the Austrian landscape and understanding what are the potentials for linking our personal interests, professional interests, with the opportunities that the Austrian economy provide has been just a fantastic synergy. And I can speak personally for myself, but I do know from my other colleagues that everyone is coming away from this experience with a much more well-rounded view of these opportunities, and personal interests and then some are also then engaged with. So I have to say, if to anybody who wants to hang out with an amazing group of people from around the world and have that exposure, and to work with the ALPS team also has just been extremely rewarding in terms of actually realizing, materializing ideas and breathing life into opportunities has been a concrete takeaway. So I would definitely, hands down, recommend participating in ALPS.